Hey everybody, my name is Dave, and this is HSA Scenario 3 with Judy Young. So just to give a quick overview of what HSAs are health savings accounts that are tax advantaged in that the contributions that people make to these health savings accounts are tax deductible, and the distributions that they take out of the health savings accounts are tax-free. So they're pretty awesome. People like them. It is here on the 1040. Just want to show you where this is Austin Drake from a different scenario. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to show you where the deduction is on the 1040. Line 25, health savings account deduction. So to calculate this deduction, we have to go through Form 889. So to find that, you can just Google it. Form 889. You can just pull it up. So let's walk through this. Judy Young. It says here in the instructions that she participated in a self-only high deductible health plan coverage. So we'll check self-only, and line 2 here, HSA contributions made by Judy or by those on Judy's behalf in 2017. It says do not include employer contributions here. So Judy contributed $975, so we'll put that in there. It says do not include the employer contributions, and we're not going to include this transfer balance of $2,000 from her old HSA account either. And the reason why is because there is a different place for that here on the Form 889. If we go down here to line 14B, if you read this, it says distributions included on that you rolled over to another HSA. Anyway, so that's where we would put this $2,000. Alright, so we're not going to go through all of these lines just because this scenario doesn't ask for it. We might get into some of these other details later. It just asks for line 2. So the answer to this question, the amount of Judy's HSA contribution reported on Form 889 line 2 is $29.75, and that is false. It's kind of a trick question because, again, the $2,000 is not included there, just $975. And if you want more detail about any of these lines, you can just Google Form 889 instructions. There's another PDF for that, which is really helpful. I've been looking over it, going through this HSA exam. You can just go down to line 2 or line 3 or whatever you're trying to calculate, and it'll give really specific instructions. Anyways, so moving on. So now let's look at all of the funds that Judy took out of her HSA account. So these are the distributions. So if we look at the Form 889, just to kind of explain the structure of this part 1 right here, these are the HSA contributions, and that's what calculates the deduction right here on line 13. It says enter this deduction amount basically on Form 1040 line 25. So eventually that is going to go right here. So that's the contribution amount, or the deduction. And this part 2 is the HSA distributions. So that's basically what Judy took out of her HSA account. And so 14A, total distributions you received in 2017. So that's actually question number 7. What is the amount of total distributions on Form A89. So the total distributions is just all of these amounts added up right here, because that's everything she took out of it. So if you add 275, 185, 300, 225, and 425, you will get 1410. And that's the amount that we'll include right here, 1410. So the answer to question 7 is D. And then question 8, what is the amount reported on Form A89, line 15? So line 15 is the qualified medical expenses. So like I said before, the distributions that you take out of the HSA, they are tax-free as long as they are qualified. And if they are not qualified, then those amounts, or whatever portion is unqualified, will be taxable. So let's see here. Alright, I apologize for the pause there. So how do we know which of these expenses are qualified or not? So if we go to Form 4012 on page E4, that's where it talks about the HSA stuff. Right here it says qualified medical expenses are expenses that generally would qualify for medical or dental expenses deduction. So, and if we go to page F5 of the publication 4012, right here, Schedule A deductible and non-deductible medical expenses. So this is just as a reference as well. So, okay, let's look at the expenses we have. So we have insulin, doctor visit, yoga classes, prescription medicine, and premiums for COBRA coverage, which is just a health insurance coverage. So COBRA right here is qualified medical expense, so we're good on that one. Medicines or drugs will be qualified if it requires a prescription. If it's available without a prescription, over-the-counter medicine drug, and the taxpayer gets a prescription for it, basically you just have to have a prescription, or it's insulin. So insulin was one of our expenses, and also prescription medication. So those are good. Also a doctor's visit and dentist visits and hospital visits. Those are qualified. But if we look at yoga classes here, that one is not qualified. And if we go over here to Schedule A, deductible, non-deductible medical expenses, I think that would best fit under the category of health club dues or something to that extent. Anyways, that's not qualified. So to find the amount on line 15 of the total qualified expenses, we would just add up everything except for yoga classes. So what we had before, 1410 minus the 300 for yoga classes, and so our answer is C, 1,110. Alright, thank you very much. I'll probably be talking to you more about HSA later. Thanks.